This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
This is going to be one that gets you really angry. It gets me really angry, and I can guarantee there'll probably be some swear words. So there you go. We're talking about Uvalde. And as we know, Uvalde was one of the biggest clusterfucks in policing history. How many kids? It was horrible. How many died?
Was it 45? I don't have the number. Let me look. I want to say it was 45, but I don't know that. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Too many. How's that?
Yeah, too many. I mean, it was just ridiculous. This is in Uvalde, Texas, where the police basically surrounded the school as an active shooter. A single active shooter was in there going into barricaded classrooms and executing children.
19 children, 2 teachers.
Okay.
I had 45 in my head. The number doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was
19 kids, 2 teachers. Yeah. And there was literally hundreds of police surrounding the building, and everybody going, what do we do? When do we go in? When's the order? Should we go in? Should we not go in? There were officers there who had kids in the building that actually tried to go in. There was parents trying to break the police line, and the police were trying to arrest the parents because nobody was going in and stopping the shooter. Everybody was like, what? And then afterwards, they had the nerve to go on stage at like the local fairgrounds or the Golden Corral or something, put on their big fucking hats that they do in Texas and go, we did a great job, and have a big old circle jerk. And then when someone comes in and says, you guys, a bunch of kids just died here and like you didn't do anything, you don't belong here. I think it was Beto O'Rourke who actually did that and called them out like immediately. You don't belong here, boy. Anyway, I think everyone who was not doing their job in this case should end up in prison. I know that's not how that works because they'll protect each other. But if
this was an absolute dereliction of duty.
Yeah.
Absolute. And I don't want to get into a gun discussion, but when I hear them say, well, we need more guns, they had more guns. They didn't do anything.
It's not about guns. It's about incompetence.
It's about the person. Is the person, do they have enough balls between their legs, and if they're men, to actually go into the situation and disarm the shooter? They didn't.
Utter incompetence all the way around. And again, I will say this because if you're just listening for the first time, you must hate police. Like, no, I don't at all. Not at all. That's not at all. I hate incompetence. And I don't care what the fuck you do for a living. If you're incompetent and your position has other people's lives depending on you being competent and you're not, yes, I have a problem with you.
Yeah.
Again, not about police. Love good police. Have many friends. I have family, as you do too. Not anti-police whatsoever. Just throwing that out there for any asshole who wants to go, no, he hates, like, no, you're fucking wrong. It's not the case at all. I hate incompetent police. I hate incompetent anything. And if you can't do it, then you shouldn't be in that field. That's all. And it seems there was a couple hundred of them at this place. The scathing report, the U.S. Justice Department report revealing disturbing failures in Robb Elementary and that school shooting. The scathing report released by the U.S. Department of Justice has unveiled shocking details surrounding the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde, Texas, which took place May 24th of 2022. The incidents, which claimed the lives of innocent children and a teacher, exposed a series of failures in law enforcement response and the culmination leaving the community in turmoil. I think we all pointed this out like the day of. So why the fuck it took 2.5 years to come up with a report? I don't know. I think could have done that on the weekend. During the terrifying ordeal, 9 and 10-year-old children inside the Robb Elementary School made desperate pleas for assistance, heart-wrenching cries for help, 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 and a heart-rendering statement such as, I don't want to die, my teacher is dead. And there's lots of dead bodies echoed through the 911 call during the initial 37 minutes of the siege.
Unreal. I can't get past this. The outsiders watching this happen, hearing about it, had different thoughts than what these people who are actually at the situation as to what they had. I was an EMT for not very long, about a year.
Mm-hmm.
I had like active shooter training of some sort, what to do if you come up to a scene and there's an active shooter. And I was not police. And I even kind of had an idea of, well, somebody's got to disarm the shooter. I knew that.
Yeah.
Why didn't these people know that?
One of the most significant failures highlighted in the Justice Department's 575-page reports was the law enforcement officials' inability to promptly recognize the incident as an active shooter scenario. Because they're idiots. The report acknowledges the quick arrival of officers who bravely ran towards the sound of gunfire. However, they froze upon reaching the classrooms, failing to use available resources to enter and eliminate the threat. Okay. You do that, and you turn around and you do that, which they did. Sorry, those people need to go. According to the report, officers retreated from the gunfire, opting to wait for reinforcements and treating the gunman as a barricaded suspect. You have gunshots going off in a classroom filled with children, and you're going to sit back and wait? Let's get some more support. You are the ones with guns. There's more of you than the one guy with the gun. And by the way, you signed up for this. And if kids are in there dying, there's people who didn't sign up for your fucking job that would have gladly gone in there and taken a bullet for those kids. Probably every single fucking parent that was there.
Mm-hmm. God.
This delay allowed the shooter to continue his rampage for an additional 40 minutes, resulting in further casualties. See, I just keep getting angrier at this. And the officers that ran in and then retreated. And there's so many ways I'd like to say this other than retreated, other than being pathetic pieces of shit that they were. Yeah, I don't know that
I
locking
have no
up.
doubt that this was a horrifically scary, terrifying fucking situation.
I don't fucking care. You're an officer of the law. You're there to protect and serve, and kids are getting shot. I don't fucking care how scary it is. Do your fucking job. That is your job. Yeah. You know who it's even scarier for? The kids who got to watch their friends and their teacher get executed. That's who it was fucking scary for. The men who ran in with guns and tasers and billy and sticks and every other fucking thing, I consider being a little less scary because you have all that shit.
Well, and helmets and shields and
body armor
vests.
And fucking, these tank-like vehicles that they don't need. I mean, that's who it's scary for. I have no pity for these officers going, it's scary. Let's wait for fuck you. Fuck you.
Yep. Yeah, I want to know if they are going to be held accountable other than, oh, you failed. Here's our report. What are you going to do about it?
Highly
because
doubtful.
Just retraining them, it's not like they sexually harassed somebody and, told a dirty joke at work. They allowed children and teachers to literally be
executed.
Executed. Yeah, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. They allowed it to happen, and not that they wanted it to happen, but they were watching it happen in real time and just stood there going, I don't know, I need to use some Purell.
Need that
That scene.
Yes. And that
Remember
happened.
that?
And that happened too. Yes. One of them actually took time to get some Purell and rub it on his hands as they're walking through the fucking school that's being shot up and going, I'm not going to go in that classroom.
Astounded me.
But let me make sure that I'm not going to die of COVID from these germs in this dirty school.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is one of those where it's like, I'm sorry, gather these folks up, bring them to the town square, and let the parents who lost their children, give them some spears and see how that goes.
Well, that's, we're getting to that point in this country, but they need to be held accountable. If we allowed, I forget the guy's name. God, was it Scott Peterson?
No, that was a Scott Peterson in the other case where he was found not guilty of standing there doing nothing for all those.
Okay, so if he was brought to trial over this, these folks need to be brought to trial.
No, I agree.
He was just a safety officer. These were full on employed by the United States government. They were employed as police.
Yeah. I believe
they did nothing.
I believe it took Border Patrol agents to get there and go, hey, dumb fucks, we're going in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think they need to be taken to task for this in more than, well, here's our report, you guys fucked up. No, they need to be held accountable because in that, 37 minutes, they did not make the decision that they were trained to do.
No, they did not. And I can guarantee, I mean, I can't imagine being a parent, having lost your child in this. And I'm actually, I'm going to say, I'm frankly kind of surprised there hasn't been other justice that has, vigilante justice, that hasn't reared its head as of yet by any, I don't know, angry parent or, I don't know, parent that may have gone psychotic after this, because I think I would. I think if I were in that situation, they should probably keep me away from anything that could, because I would not be calm. I would not be, oh, we'll let the system play itself out, because we know how the system doesn't play itself out very well. And I think I would have been bringing justice to, I think, anybody involved in this who had anything to do with the death of my child in one way, shape, or form. I'd probably end up in jail at some point, prison probably. If I were one of those parents, because I could not, I don't think I could fathom sitting back and just watching this shit show. The report emphasized the critical role of leadership in law enforcement during the moments of dire challenge. However, it stated that leadership was notably absent for an extended period during the Robb Elementary School response. Key figures, including then school police chief Pete Ardonado and then acting Uvalde police chief Marino Pargas and Uvalde County Sheriff Ruben Nolasco, were cited for their failures of leadership. Cited? Oh, you get cited for that.
No. They need to spend some time in jail.
Ardonado, identified as the de facto on-scene commander, prioritized evacuations over immediate breach and entry into the room with the shooter, contrary to active shooter response principles. Sheriff Nolasco was criticized for not sharing vital information with the gunman, leading to a lack of coordination among law enforcement personnel. The initial crime scene investigation handled by the Texas Department of Public Safety faced difficulties due to numerous individuals entering the classrooms. Officers moved to seize victims within the chaotic scene, potentially compromising evidence. The report
Lord.
I know. It's just like this is how clusterfucky it is.
Play the Benny Hill theme behind, their footage of this.
Pretty much.
Good God.
The report also revealed that the gunman's Hellfire trigger system was not initially cataloged as evidence due to a lack of understanding of its relevance. An offer by the FBI to process the shooter's truck before a storm was not accepted, further implicating potential evidence. So they didn't want the FBI involved because that might make them look shitty more than they already do. I love that. I really like. In your mind, and I wasn't aware of this until we started getting into true crime and doing this for a living. There's these ideas that I think a lot of us have of the hierarchy of police and FBI and all the different groups in terms of what they have authority to do. And I was unaware for quite some time, like local jurisdictions, they don't have to bring in the FBI. In fact, they can tell the FBI to go away in many cases, unless it becomes the FBI's jurisdiction. But the FBI can be called in for assistance. The FBI usually offers assistance, but it can also be turned away by a zealous police force that wants nothing to do with their fuck-ups being exposed. And that's what happened here. Additionally, the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police Department operated without standard operating procedures at the time. Jesus Christ. The lack of clear policies and procedures contributed to confusion and a culture of complacency regarding locked door policies within the district.
Do you remember that? The doors, they thought they were locked and they never went up and tried them.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, they were,
They never walked up to the door and physically went, okay, it's locked because we tried it. You always have to go and make sure. I mean, and we brought this up many, many months ago in one of our segments. Like in radio, one of the big things that we were always taught was, yes, you have a weather forecast in front of you, but hopefully you also have a window. So look out the window to make sure that what you're about to read is accurate, because if you say it's mostly sunny and it's pouring rain and you had a window and you didn't look, well, you're at fault. Well, that's exactly it. You didn't go up and try the door. Mm-hmm. And you just assumed it was locked? Well, go up and try it. You might find out differently.
You might. Back. You might if you did your job. You just, did that. The report dismissed the initial narrative of heroic first responders saving lives. which was complete bullshit, and criticized the disorganized and chaotic death notification process. Families faced obstacles in locating their loved ones, accessing hospitals, and receiving timely information. Some were provided with incomplete or inaccurate information about their pain or adding to their pain. Attorney General Merrick Garland commented on the findings, stating the victims and survivors of the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School deserve better. The law enforcement response to Robb Elementary on May 24th, 2022, and the response by officials in the hours and days after was a failure.
From top to bottom, it was a failure from the get-go. I think the only people who were really doing their job were the 911 dispatchers.
Yeah. I mean, they got them there. People did, and it's not like they didn't arrive. The police did arrive pretty quick, actually. They just didn't do anything. So that's the problem here with the police response at Robb Elementary. Now we got a report that says, hey, you guys are a bunch of fuck-ups. And that seems to be where it ends. And they kind of go, yeah, we know we are. And that's... Well,
now what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do? Well, it seems to kind of be more like, I feel like with a group like this, where there's just constant things being screwed up, no accountability. It's like a child that's sitting there, and you go back to like the 90s. They're going, I know you are, but what am I?
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.